Hello, and welcome back to the Spoilercast, the show where we talk about movies and we don't care about spoiling them. My name is Tobias, and with me as always is my sister and trusty co-host, Rebecca.
Hello!
Hello! And we are here in the sweltering desert sun of Arrakis, as you can see, because today we are finally talking about DUNE, Part 2. Yeah. It's funny because I was not at all. Well, I'm not gonna say not at all. I wasn't really super hyped for this, to be honest. Because if you remember, way back in the day, in 2021, way back in the day. Well, it's been a while. I wasn't the biggest fan of the first movie. I thought it was good. I mean, it's a good movie, of course. But I was kind of underwhelmed. There was a lot of cool, big, epic scenes.
Yes.
But it failed to capture that.
There was something.
That weird feeling of that is all over the book.
Yes.
I don't know if you know that, but I'm a gigantic fan of the book.
I think we mentioned that in the episode on the first movie.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of those. One of the few books I've read several times, and I read it a long time ago, like 20 years ago, if not more. So I was like, and especially since it wasn't the whole story, it was really kind of the only the opening of the story. Really, it's not even like half the book. No, it's like the first fourth of the book, maybe.
Basically.
Yeah. So I remember back then saying I can't really judge this because I haven't seen the whole thing yet. So I was kind of like, it's cool, but whatever. That's why we called it a bombastic experience. It's huge, big, and loud, but kind of empty. Yeah. I don't know but you liked it, right?
I liked it, but I agreed that it felt like we were missing some parts of the story. We're missing too much of the story for it to actually be a full movie. Even if it's a part one, you should still have beginning, middle, and end.
Yeah. And this literally just ends in the middle.
Yes.
Or
part
ends in
one,
the beginning.
more or less ends in the beginning of the middle.
Yeah, exactly.
So it felt like something was missing, but it was overall it's a very well produced and beautiful movie.
Sure, yeah.
Which did capture me in the beginning. Rewatching it though, it's not as breathtaking because you can focus more on the story and lack thereof, I guess, or the finished story.
Yeah, lack of plot, because not a lot happens in that first movie. Honestly.
Like I said when we sat down today, it's a very long intro, basically.
Yes, because this is, if you've read the book, you know this before even watching the movie. This is where all the stuff happens.
Yes,
this is where all the prophecies and the war and the becoming legend and stuff like that. That's where this happens.
Yes.
So let's then get into the second movie. Because we just saw it.
Yes, literally an hour ago or something.
It ended about an hour ago, yeah. We went home. So I'm just going to ask you, what did you think of DUNE Part 2?
I thought it was pretty exciting. It was almost as big and grand as the first movie. Not quite, but it had its moments.
Yeah.
It was a little bit too long and something's it's weird to say that they dragged on, but they kind of did.
Yeah.
Because some moments were a little bit too long, which made the movie too long, Yeah. But I don't know. Maybe I need to digest it more. I'm kind of disappointed.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Because I think I painted this picture in my head, and it didn't quite meet that expectation.
No, and that's understandable because
are too slow, and then some things are way too fast.
Yeah, because you read the book you read it before the first movie came out.
Yes, I finished it when we watched the first movie.
Yeah, so you read it pretty recently. I started reading it, but I've been in a reading slump for years, so I didn't finish it in time for that movie.
Yeah.
So I haven't actually read it for like 15 years. Was the last time I read it. But it's one of those stories where, you know, the big beats and even certain details are just etched into your head because it's so well written.
Yes.
But there were things I was like, oh yes, they captured that, and feels like they're changing stuff over here and over there. But overall, yeah, it's one of those books that you can never 100% like capture
recreate.
it. Yeah, no, it's not going to happen.
No, of course not.
Yeah, and that's why, yeah, as an adaptation, it's going to fall short, even though I think it is a very good adaptation.
Definitely.
Yeah. As a movie, though, I gotta say, I loved it.
See, I think I need to digest it. I think I'm going to appreciate it more if I give it some time.
Yeah.
Because we just finished it. We haven't talked about it. I mean, by the end of this episode, you've probably changed my mind.
Okay. No, I just thought this was so much more exciting. I mean, not just that we have more action, but there's a lot more action. A lot more, focus on the Fremen attacks on the harvesters and on Harkonnen and all that. But there's also, like I said, there's more to the characters. They have more to do.
Yes.
It's not just them waiting around for things to happen.
It's literally more of everything.
Yeah, and we get to the coolest part of the book where Paul becomes, he becomes one with the universe, basically.
Yes.
And starts turning into Space Jesus.
Yes.
Yeah. Because this is even though there's a lot of stuff around it, at its core, this is very much just the hero's journey.
Yeah.
Even though I know in later books, I've only read the first 2 books, it changes a lot.
Sure.
And I
mean, the first book is the hero's journey, and then obviously it develops. You can't do the hero's journey throughout, what is it, like 5 books or something?
I think it's 6.
6 books even.
Originally 3, then they made 3 more, I think, after he died.
Right, like the son or something.
Yeah. And I get the feeling because, or maybe I'm just misremembering this, but Paul, are we just going to get into spoilers right away?
I mean, we're like 7 minutes in. Can we
okay.
elongate it a little bit?
Yeah. Well, I'll just talk more about what I liked about it. Like I said,
yes.
I liked that it was more intimate. It didn't feel as clinical. Because it didn't all take place in like big empty rooms. It was more out in the desert. Yeah.
What's it called? The difference between the first movie and this movie because of the setting.
Yeah. There's a lot more. A lot of it takes place in the sieges, which are big halls, but it's more intimate.
Natural?
Everyone's sitting together, more natural. Yeah, that too.
Organic shapes instead of
exactly.
Bauhaus blocks.
Yeah. And there's like handheld shots in the beginning, which I don't think we saw a single one of in the original or the first movie. Yeah. So I like that. I like that there was more agency to the characters. They had more to do, and there was an actual like progression of plot here.
Yes.
So it was exciting. Yes, it was a little long. But I didn't really feel it until the last half hour. That's when I started like,
I had like the last 45 minutes. I was like,
okay.
Wait, first of all, I started thinking, how are they going to fit everything up until the end?
Yeah.
But then when we saw the end, I was like, oh, right, that does go by rather quick in the book as well.
The ending is sort of abrupt.
Fast.
Yeah. That's even worse though in the 84 movie. Remember? It's like 5 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
After he becomes Muad'Dib, they're like, okay, we're gonna attack the Emperor now.
Yeah.
So they did it better here. I gotta say that. I gotta say now this because back in 2021, I would still consider David Lynch's Dune the better Dune movie because it captured the weirdness better, the weirdness and the strange visions and dreams and all that better than Part 1 did. Here though, they have a lot more involvement of dreams and visions, and the visions get weird.
Yeah.
And I'd say this is now my favorite Dune movie. It captures the feeling of the book the best so far.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it.
I definitely enjoyed it.
Yeah. And I gotta say, like, we haven't watched a lot of new movies yet. We're still in the beginning of the year. But, like, this is the best movie I've seen all year. New movie.
Well, so far.
Yeah, so far, yeah.
Yeah.
All year, yeah.
Sure. Much like we said with part 1 that year, it's hard because it is not only just a good movie with a great story in this case, but it's so goddamn well produced.
Yes.
There's so much detail in every single like image.
Yeah.
That it just feels fantastic. Like you kind of forget that you're watching a movie.
Yeah. It's
watching
very,
a story unfold, not just a movie, you know?
Yeah, it's very, very meticulous.
Mm-hmm.
Like the last time a big blockbuster movie like this had this attention to detail, I would say is like the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Yeah, basically.
Or
I guess part 1.
Well, I would say Return of the King.
Yeah, maybe. No, I meant Dune part 1.
Oh, sure. What? Not this?
Dune part 1 also had those.
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah, but that's also something I think in the future we're gonna discuss it as one movie. This really should have been one movie. You could have made like this together is almost 6 hours long.
Mm-hmm.
You could. I know you would have had to cut some corners and stuff, which you always do when you adapt a book. You could have told the entire story in like 3.5 hours.
Yes, you could have probably done it in 3 if you really wanted to.
Yeah.
There's a lot of slow things in the beginning in the first movie.
Yeah, that part could have been sped up.
Sped up, yes, and cut. And even in part 2, there are... No, I wouldn't say there are moments you can cut out, but you could probably shorten them.
The arena fight with Fade Rautha, I mean, sorry.
Yeah.
Like, is that even in the book?
Oh, yes, it is. And it feels much longer in the book.
Oh, really? Yes. I thought they just mentioned that he does things like that. Not that we actually get to be there.
I think we get to be there even.
Okay. Oh, sure.
I think they captured that part very well in this one. With the visual and like the actual action and stuff.
Okay. Yeah, because I thought the Harkonnen. I'm gonna call him Harkonnen.
Yes.
Not Harkonnen.
Harkonnen.
The Harkonnen felt more like Harkonnen in this. Sure, they were deceitful in the first movie, but they were just like, we're angry at Atreides. Yeah. But here they were conflict within the family as well, which felt a lot more like in the book.
Yes, definitely.
But I think honestly, all of those criticisms where the first movie lacked certain details like that is because the first movie was really just the first 20% of the book. Exactly. And so much more happens in this movie.
Yes.
So...
the first movie was a strange percentage of the book. You should have had more.
Yeah.
They could have, I mean, if you look at part 2, there was a moment in part 2 where you basically could have cut it instead.
Which one?
Like you could have kept going until they actually got to the siege, for example, or even shortly after that you could have cut it. So you could have added more to the first movie and reduced the second movie a little bit, making the split more even.
Yeah.
A little bit, at least.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking, like, because this movie has... I'm thinking of the original movie, the 1984 movie, has a montage where after Paul becomes Muad'Dib Usul, he trains the Fremen in the weirding way, which that is a thing in the book, right?
Yes.
They have the speaking weapons or whatever, it's shouting weapons and stuff.
Yes.
Which is completely removed here. I understand why, but it's also, that's part of that weirdness that I love about that movie.
Yes.
Or book. In this movie, they have a montage of Paul and the Fremen attacking, doing acts of terrorism, basically, or acts of rebellion. Yeah. And both of those are in the book, I think. Yeah. But I honestly think you could just remove, in this version, you remove that part, because we know that they do the attacks. They could have just cut to 6 months later, and the legend
you could have had, like, one.
Yeah, and the legend of Muad'Dib has grown,
Yeah.
Yeah, you just have people in the Harkonnen control room saying damn it, for 6 months they've been attacking us. Why can't we find this desert demon Muad'Dib, instead of...
Yeah, exactly.
So that's where you can start cutting stuff out. And honestly,
It's not cutting out, though. It's cutting down.
Cutting down, yeah. Imagine if the first movie ended when Paul drinks the water of life.
Ooh. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You could have had more...
And it ends on him, spoilers, dying.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
And that's where just bum goes to black.
That would have been much better, I think.
And then the second movie
and
could
then
have
you would
been
have had
shorter.
A little bit, but you still could have had it pretty long. You still could have had more of the like actually convincing people, because even though he has had the drink of life, it takes a while before everybody agrees that he might be Lisan Al Gaib or whatever they call him.
And the second movie
names for the same person.
Yeah, I know. And the second movie focuses purely on him as a prophet.
Yes. And the actual rebellion.
Yeah, and the first movie is focusing on him as a person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's what the first movie kind of lacked. We needed to get to know Paul a little bit better in the first movie to understand that he changes a lot in the second movie.
Yeah. Because you can definitely feel that as you read the book, but here it feels like two different people.
Yes.
Because of where it cuts off in the first movie.
Mm-hmm. Even though we have that first scene that literally starts off right after the first movie ends. Yeah. There's still a change in him because of how the first movie ends.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because of that fight with Jamis in the end.
Yeah.
Because that's the tipping point, obviously. That's where he takes his first life. He becomes a different person.
Yeah.
When we start this movie, he's already been changed, technically. And those like, say 20 minutes we missed in between, when they just walked in the desert, that's where he realized, oh shit, this is what I've done, and now this is me, basically.
Yeah. I am really looking forward to the fan cuts of this movie.
Yes.
Cutting together two parts and like getting rid of some of the fat. Or if they do a like official release at some point. They do a Villeneuve cut.
There's a thing though. Tomorrow they're showing these as a marathon viewing. So you watch part 1 and then 2 all together. That might be how you're supposed to watch them.
Yeah, because I mean,
though I'm not excited to sit down for 6 hours. So I'm not going to do it now. I'll do it later when I can do it at home.
Yeah. When they're both on HBO Max, I'll do that. Yeah, because I mean, if you cut out the end credits of the first movie and just cut directly to the beginning of the second one, that's almost there's no time in between.
You're not missing anything.
No, yeah.
Because the only thing that happens in between that is they walk, so you just start on a different part of the desert, basically.
Yeah.
But they haven't gotten that far, obviously.
They did, however, because the movie actually starts with quotes from the princess, the emperor's daughter, Princess Irulan. Which I
never mention her name.
I know. They just call her the princess.
It's kind of weird.
Yeah. Yeah, because later on in the story, she's the one who, like, she is his, she becomes his, like, what's it called? A chronicler.
Yes.
She chronicles the life of Paul Muad'Dib.
Yeah.
And that, there's all those excerpts from her books in the book.
She's basically the narrator in the book.
Yeah.
And even in the 80s movie.
Yeah. It starts with her explaining everything.
Basically.
The beginning is a great place to start a story.
Yes. Yeah. No shit.
Yeah. So yeah, because I honestly thought they were gonna like start with a jump back and actually do that scene from the movie, which is from the original movie or the first movie, which is not explicitly in the book, but it's mentioned. It's mentioned here as well, where we see the Emperor make the plans with Harkonnen.
Yes.
I thought they were going to start with that and then cut to Paul in the desert with his mom, which they didn't do, but they did do the whole Princess Irulan talking about what's going on in the world or in the universe right now. So I feel
like her role was a little bit too small in this, but I understand why, because they're focusing wholeheartedly on Paul's point of view, obviously.
Yeah.
So having too many moments with just her is gonna be a bit weird.
But then
I
also,
still...
she doesn't really come into the story until towards the end. What she
No,
really
but
is
she has so much more to say, though.
Yes, because of the excerpts from her books.
Yeah. And I feel like those could have been more included somehow.
Yeah, because they explain so much.
Mm-hmm.
They help with like passage of time and stuff, and that's
Yes.
hard to do in a movie. I understand that. That's why it works as a book, but that's also why it's hard to film this book.
Yeah. That's one of the things, because I'm going to get into a spoiler now.
Sure.
We're like 15 plus
We're 20 minutes in.
Yeah.
Spoilers from here on out.
Spoilers. That's one thing that really threw me off. The time, how much time actually passed. Especially since the baby sister, I still haven't looked up what her name is.
Yeah, what is her name?
She's not born in this. And that really messes with the timeline for me.
It does, because she gets born... Paul Atreides' sister, Aliyah.
Oh, right, Aliyah, yeah.
Yeah.
Because she gets... Her development accelerates after Mom, whatever her name is, Rebecca Ferguson, Jessica, drinks the water of life.
Yeah.
And therefore she's born early, and then she ages quicker.
Yeah. Yeah, she's born
her mind is already
Bene
developed.
Gesserit.
Yeah, because of the water of life. She's already experienced everything that happened before.
Yeah.
Through her mother.
Which is that, because she's like on, at least in the book or in the second book. You haven't read the second book, right?
No, I've only read the first one.
But in the first book as well, when they explain her as a character, she's like on par, power-wise, with Paul. The only difference is he's a man, which I think is such a nice.
Yeah, and she's also like 5.
Yeah.
But she acts like a 20-year-old.
Yeah, but she has the well, really, I was going to say she has the Kwisatz Haderach powers. That's just Bene Gesserit powers, but in a man.
Yes,
that's really the difference.
She has the same powers as a Revenant mother, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
But in the body of a 5-year-old.
Yeah. So it was weird that she didn't show up. Of course, she doesn't really have much to do in the book, but it is once again one of those weird things. Like because Jessica drank the water of life, her child came out different.
Because they don't introduce her as a living person in the movie, you kind of could have cut her out completely. You didn't have to have Jessica be pregnant almost.
But that becomes a big problem if you're going to film the other books.
Yes. Now the question is, are they going to film the other books?
They're going to have to, because this ends on a cliffhanger.
That's true.
More than the book does.
But so does the David Lynch one.
No, well, sort of, but that actually it actually ends with and in the future Dune became green again.
Oh yeah, that's true. They do talk about that.
We're not going to film the other books, so
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, he took over the role as Emperor, and Dune became green.
That's true.
So no, they and I mean, obviously, they're not going to say, "Oh no, we won't film the next one. We don't want to make more money." Of course, because this is obviously going to be big. Like we saw this. We saw this on a Monday afternoon, early afternoon, and it was packed in one of Sweden's biggest theaters. And as we were leaving, hundreds and hundreds of people were swarming in to watch the next screening.
They did choose a really good week for Sweden because it's a
winter
kind of like spring break. I don't know what you call it.
Sportlov.
No, it's not spring. It's a break.
It's a break. It's a short break for school people.
Yeah. So a lot of people just went to see it because they're obviously off work or off school.
Yeah.
You happen to have the day off. Yeah. I got approved from my manager to skip half the day to go to the movies.
Yeah.
Because my boss loves movies as well, so she's very kind when it comes to that. Shout out my boss, I guess. But there were other things that I feel kind of disappeared. I want to remember a fight scene in like a hangar or something with Gurney. What's his name? Gurney Halleck. Which.
See, those are the details that I don't remember, like specific fights. I don't remember that. So
I think they kind of like they merged that with the like attack in general when he gets to take revenge, basically.
Yeah.
On Raban, because I think that's when it happens.
Oh, okay.
And also, the whole like almost domestic moments between Paul and Chani. They're supposed to have like their own little house, and they play house basically.
Yeah, they downplay that part.
Yeah,
which is
they
weird
never,
because
Paul
their
and Jessica
relationship is very
really,
important to Paul in the book.
Yeah, Paul and Jessica never really get to settle into the siege.
No, yeah,
because it feels like they're so quick to leave it. I don't remember if it's in the first siege or in the second siege that they make a home, but in one of them, they settle down more or less.
Yeah.
I might be misremembering, but maybe they even have a kid.
I don't remember that.
They talk about having children.
That they do.
Either they have one, or Paul has a vision of their child in the future.
Yes.
Something like that. And that made Chani, the character Chani, feel less developed, because we don't get to see enough of her actually being in love.
No, yeah.
And like
loving
him and being
that's what
comfortable with him.
That's what I wanted to ask you about. Like, because in this movie, she's very much opposed to Paul being the Lisan al-Gaib. No, Muad'Dib he is, but
oh yeah, sure, yeah.
Lisan, the
chosen one.
The chosen one, yeah. The Messiah, because she knows that the Bene Gesserit, orchestrated it all. But so in this movie, there's almost like a divide between or within the Fremen. Like, some of them are super devout, they're fundamentalist. Yeah. While some of them are like, no, that's crazy. This is just the way they hold you down, basically.
Yeah.
Is that in the book? Where she basically just goes off on her own in the end? Because she does that in this movie. I don't remember that.
She goes off on her own, but I do remember that there are the younger ones who are kind of like, no, we're not going to believe in the prophecy as much. I don't remember if they like point out that this is just the plans of the Bene Gesserit. But there's definitely some people that go, maybe he's not it. Maybe we shouldn't put our faith into this prophecy. Instead, just make our own, make our own faith or whatever. But she is more supportive in the book, despite not liking it. She doesn't like the whole thing, and she doesn't like the plans that he makes. She's afraid of losing him. In this one, it doesn't feel like she's afraid of losing him. She's just basically annoyed the entire time.
Yeah. And I'm wondering if that is, sort of rewritten for a modern audience.
Might be.
So that, a religious figure is the one who saves the universe. Especially one that has been it's not even like a real political or a real religious figure. It's a puppet of a shadow government, basically.
Yeah.
However,
planned and planted for generations.
Yeah. However, I think that is missing. Like I said, I haven't read the rest of the books, but I read I read about them, so I know what happens in them. And I think it is kind of to start introducing those kind of doubts about him as a prophet, as a savior already is too early. Because in the book he is the savior. Like, yes. There's nothing wrong. Sure, he talks about, seeing the future and what terrible things will happen in my name.
Yeah.
But the whole point is that he takes control over that. He breaks the plan that the Bene Gesserit has.
Yes.
I mean, really, him being born is the beginning of breaking down their plans, because he was not supposed to be born.
No, he was supposed to be a girl.
Exactly. They were not planning.
Jessica felt like, no, this is it.
Yeah, because her Leto wanted a son, and she loved Leto. So, yeah.
Honestly, she's a bit of a a bitch in all this. She just does what she wants herself for basically her own gain.
Yeah, well, she is setting plans in motion, plans that have been there for centuries.
But everyone else says that the plans are not ready. It's not now. It's in the future. And she's like, nah, I'm gonna make sure it's now. It's my time to shine.
Once again, yeah.
I mean, she defies two rules, which is, first of all, she births a boy when she should have had a girl.
Yeah.
And then her second child, she drinks the water of life while being pregnant, which is not approved.
No, and that's also like they're it's not like they're not playing into the Bene Gesserit's plans, which I think is a good thing, because that is kind of weird. But at the same time, because that's what they explore more in the book. The Bene Gesserit, it's not like they're not doing it to like, haha, we want to control the world. They're not like evil. Which they hint at in this when you pick the wrong side. There's sides. There's no sides in this. Because they can see the past, present, and future at the same time and can see different. They're Doctor Strange basically. Yeah. They set plans in motion to make sure that everything goes according to plan. To make sure that, because there is a backstory that they don't really talk about. At least not in the first book, but there is like a lot of lore and world building. Because this takes
reading on the rest of the books.
Yeah. Because this does take place 8,000 years into our future. Like, these are humans, but it's so far removed that it feels like a completely different world.
Yeah.
But there were, like, why they don't have computers anymore? They have mentats instead and stuff like that. It's because there was like a great AI rebellion or robot rebellion and stuff. They do mention that briefly, but there's more you can read about it. I
think you told me most of it.
Yeah. And there's like, the place or the known universe, so to speak, where humans were a fucking horrible place for a long while.
Yeah.
So the Bene Gesserit, what they're doing is really to make sure that nothing goes wrong again.
They're just trying to keep humanity alive.
Yeah, and that's why they have plans within plans even. Dreams within dreams and stuff like that. Like, it goes so far beyond like, well, I don't think we should listen to a false prophet, but you see, you need that prophet to succeed, to make sure that happens, so that then this happens. It's a whole long domino effect.
Yeah. But the Bene Gesserit were hoping to maybe have someone that's more appropriate than Paul Atreides.
Yeah. And maybe
because he is one of the futures, obviously. They knew that he would. But they also knew that they could have stopped him and just waited for the next one, because they knew who that's supposed to be as well.
Yeah.
But no, Jessica went ahead and went, nope, it's gonna be Paul.
Yeah. And that's what kind of makes him an actual messiah. Because he isn't actually planted. Seeds were planted, but he is something else.
He wasn't technically supposed to be.
Yeah. And that's why I think he's like good, so to speak. But like I said, that's me speaking because I have not read past the second book, so I don't know.
However, the way Timothée Chalamet portrays him in this part 2 kind of makes him seem a little bit machtgalen.
Yeah. Megalomaniacal.
Yes.
But that is the thing.
A little bit.
That happens in the book. That he plays him very aggressive, yes. But it is in the book, though. The whole thing, like,
sure.
I need to rule as a Harkonnen, because when he finds out he is Harkonnen.
Oh, yeah, no, definitely. But I feel like he seems more angry before he reveals that he is Harkonnen.
Yeah. No, I know.
And he's gonna play it like a Harkonnen.
Yeah.
It's like they're telling us that a little bit too late in the movie. Because it feels like an afterthought. It's like, oh, that's why he's been acting this way.
Yeah.
Kind of strange.
That is...
Again, I think that would have helped, though, if we had the whole domestic stuff with Chani in between.
Yeah.
Because that's when we get to see him being, like, loving and calm and still the prophet.
I agree. Definitely. Oh, by the way, I just look up, like, dates and stuff. Frank Herbert did write 6 books.
Okay.
They wrote more books after he died. So there are
Lord.
6 official books, so to speak. Even though I know the other ones are official as well, but they're not written by him.
But okay, so basically, we need to read another 5 books.
Yeah.
You need to reread the first one. I might have to reread.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, like, because when we meet up with Paul again in the second book, some time has passed. I don't remember exactly how long. I think it's like 4 years or something.
Yeah.
He is kind of he's not that way anymore. That book is a lot more just people sitting down and like talking. There's politics and stuff. So much politics. It's exciting.
Which it seems fitting, to be fair.
Yeah,
because he does more or less start a war here, and
yeah.
but it isn't like warring nations. It's not nations that run around with a bunch of soldiers, really.
No.
It's politics.
Yeah.
So yeah, obviously they're gonna sit down and talk.
It's actually,
but that's where his sister plays a big role, I think.
Yes, she's more involved. It's actually been 12 years. 12 years has passed since the beginning of Paul Muad'Dib Atreides' rule as emperor. By accepting the role of Messiah to the Fremen, Paul has unleashed a jihad which conquered most of the known universe. Paul is the most powerful emperor ever known, but is powerless to stop the lethal excesses of the religious juggernaut he has created. Yeah. Although 61 billion people have perished, Paul's prescient visions indicate that this is far from the worst possible outcome for humanity. Motivated by this knowledge, Paul hopes to set humanity on a course that will not inevitably lead to stagnation and destruction, while at the same time acting as ruler of the empire and focal point of the Fremen religion. Yeah. Huh. I don't remember. I don't remember it being that, like, that he has taken over the entire universe already. I didn't actually remember that. Now I want to read this book.
No, we're definitely gonna have to read the second book.
Anyway.
I want to talk specifically about more of the acting in general.
Yes.
And, because I feel like, I don't know if it's directing, writing, or acting, but Timothée Chalamet overdid it at times.
Yes. The outbursts were...
Yes.
But
specifically in the beginning, when he and his mother are having like a calm discussion about something, and then all of a sudden he shouts one sentence, and then they're quiet again. It's like, hold up, what just happened?
But that is kind of in the book.
Sure, but it felt weird on screen.
I know. I think the thing is that he is supposed to be in control of his emotions, but then they come out in bursts. In the book, but in the movie that becomes him just talking like this regularly, and then he shouts a couple of words, and then he goes back.
Yeah,
they did that in the David Lynch version as well, and it just feels weird.
Sure.
Yeah.
You need to have a visual like build up.
I know.
Doesn't have to be him like starting to speak louder or something, but you need to have facial reactions or something, like clenching his fists or whatever.
Yeah.
Something needs to happen physically for us to notice. Oh, something's gonna happen. You can't just shout.
Yeah, and that could have been a nice leaning, because I get the feeling his like emotional outburst comes from his Harkonnen lineage,
Probably.
his Harkonnen blood. To have him, like to almost hint at, because that comes out of nowhere.
Oh yeah,
in the book as well.
Yes.
To have hints at, I have these emotions I can't control, I don't know why. Yeah, and you see him like, but no, yeah. And there's like, why is this happening? Oh, that's what actually happens. But no, they don't do that. I guess they don't want to change things from the book, though. I guess that's it.
Yeah, but like adding him, like, I don't know, squinting to look more angry. That's all you needed, really.
Yeah.
Like have him squint for like 2 sentences before he actually screams.
Yeah.
It's small.
Sure.
But other than that, no, Zendaya as well has...
She was really good.
She was really good.
I'm usually not a fan of her because she kind of plays the same character all the time.
Yes.
Here she does as
there
well.
Are hints,
kind of the same character.
Exactly. There's a hint of her still being, MJ.
Oh, yeah.
Basically.
And
in this.
The girl from the black and white movie, whatever it's called.
Malcolm and Marie.
Yeah. And what
it's
little I've seen of Euphoria, the same,
It's the whole being the partner. She's never the main character. Euphoria, she is obviously the main character, but there's a lot of main characters in that one. And she still has this very juvenile way about her. She still feels like a teenager somehow.
Yeah.
In Dune, she does start off being a little bit more of a teenager.
And she's always very standoffish. She always seems to
Yes.
dislike everyone around her,
Yes.
especially the
She's
main
not
character.
supposed to in this one.
Yeah,
in my
exactly. She's
opinion.
supposed to be like enthralled by him immediately.
Yeah.
Almost like she's drawn
sure,
by him,
we have-
by the galaxy, by the universe. You know.
Yeah, we have small moments of them being
Yeah.
just lovey-dovey, obviously.
Yeah.
But it's not enough. And I don't remember it in a book. I remember she being, like, annoyed that he's gonna marry Princess Irulan or whatever.
Yeah.
But I think she at least stays. And she's like, yeah, whatever, as long as I'm still your wife,
Yes.
kind of thing.
And that's, once again, I think that is where they have changed the writing to fit a modern audience.
Yeah.
Because she's very inactive in the original story.
Yes.
She's basically just his fucking arm candy, more or less.
Basically.
I mean, she's in the fighting and all that, but we don't focus on that.
Sure. No.
In this
one, she's portrayed as the strong, independent woman.
yeah, which I understand why, because the book is very of its time.
Oh yes.
I mean, the prophecy, the one that will bring balance to the Force, is just a guy with the same powers as
Yes.
hundreds of other people. But because he's a guy, he's much stronger than them.
It is even worse. He's just a guy with the same powers as women.
Yeah, exactly. So because the only difference is that he's a man, so he's better.
Yeah.
I can see why they
Well,
wanted to change that.
Not
a
all
little bit.
women, but a lot of women. Yes,
yeah.
I understand. I understand wanting to have a strong female as well.
Yeah.
Because Jessica, as much as she is strong, she's also very conniving. You kind of need to have this, just strong girl. You don't need to have someone being.
Yeah, because Jessica is not evil,
kinda
but
bad.
she's scheming. Yeah, she's bad.
Yes, and that's not a positive.
No, exactly. You gotta have a positive role model. Yeah.
Yeah. However, Chani loses a little bit of herself in that, and it kind of it's jarring almost
Yeah.
how standoffish she is.
Yeah. Yeah. That's always my problem with Zendaya. I think that's partly
Yes,
her acting.
and that might be because it's Zendaya. It might not be 100% the script.
I think it's
that they changed a little
both, but I know because I've had the same problem with her in other roles as well.
bit. Yeah.
She's good, but there's just this like
Might be why they chose her though.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that yeah, probably.
But I could have seen, I can't think of an actress off the top of my head that could have replaced her, but I feel like the role would have been slightly different if they chose another actress. That's not saying she's bad, it's just she has this aura.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
kind of changes the character a little bit.
Could you recast her with someone?
Like I said, I can't off the top of my head think of an actress that would fit, because she does fit like description-wise. She looks very much the role.
Yeah. Yes.
She fits in with the whole Fremen people. Very good.
Yeah.
And she is a great actress. But she's typecast. She needs to try new things and do something else.
Well, this is slightly different. She's more of an action.
It should have been, but it's not 100%.
No, yeah, I know what you mean.
Different. That's the issue.
The only name that pops up in my head, and I don't even know if she's a good fit, is Ayo Edibiri. Do you know who that is?
I don't even know who that is now.
Did you watch The Bear, the TV show?
I watched like the first 2 episodes.
Oh, you know the new chef that comes in? The black girl?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's her, right? Ayo Edibiri.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sydney, yeah.
Sydney, yes, exactly.
Maybe. I haven't seen enough of her to know, but
No,
maybe.
I'm just thinking because she's kind of happening right now, mainly because of The Bear and other stuff. So I think maybe they could have cast her, because it does feel like they cast Zendaya because she's a good actress and whatever, but they
she's
also cast her
popular.
because she's very popular at the time.
A lot of the actors in this are just popular. I mean, they're all good.
They all
obviously. They're
work.
popular
Yeah,
for a
no one
reason.
feels miscast.
No.
But
they're very big names to put on a poster.
yeah, exactly.
Especially the younger ones.
Yes. This wouldn't. I don't think this would have been as big if it wasn't Timothée Chalamet and Zendaya. That's a big draw for part of the audience.
Yes. That was specifically for part 1, and for part 2, adding then Austin Butler and Florence Pugh is.
Oh yeah.
Very smart.
Yeah, Florence Pugh, who's in like 10 minutes of the movie, if
I
even.
wanted so much more of her in general. Like, first of all, I like the character of Princess Zedran.
Yeah.
She's so interesting.
Yeah.
And then also having Florence Pugh play her. My God, I want like an entire movie just with her. Maybe we'll get that if we, get the sequels. Maybe we'll get enough of her.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah.
Also, I wanted more of Lady Margot Fenring, the Bene Gesserit who hangs out with the Harkonnen.
Harkonnen. That's a character I don't really remember from the book. I recognize the name because she is in the book, right?
Oh yes.
Yeah. But I couldn't remember.
Because the whole, securing the bloodline is most definitely in the book.
Yeah. But I don't remember what role she plays later. That's the thing.
I think she has more to say in that whole end battle.
Yeah.
And more scheming with the Bene Gesserit around all of that.
Yeah. Yeah, there's so much more
missing a little bit as well.
There's so much more scheming in the book. All the plans within plans.
There's more of the outside things that are not Paul Atreides centered.
Yeah.
There's more of Princess Irulan. There's more of the Emperor and the Bene Gesserit in general. Them having all of their own separate little plans, and I think we get more of we get more insight on all of the versions of Paul that they're sort of planning.
Yeah. Yeah.
All the other bloodlines that they are planning on maybe one day bringing out the Kwisatz Haderach.
Kwisatz Haderach. Yeah.
Say it. There's more of a discussion around maybe Feyd-Rautha was supposed to be.
Yeah. That I don't remember from the book, that he was supposed to be the Kwisatz Haderach.
I remember it vaguely, but I'm confused because I don't think they mention if his mother is Bene Gesserit.
Yeah.
So maybe he's more of a messiah because he's not actually born specifically to a Bene Gesserit mother and then planned to be Messiah.
Yeah.
He's actually developed into a person that could be Messiah, basically. I'm going to call it Messiah instead of Kwisatz Haderach because it's harder to say.
Lisan al-Gaib.
Yeah. Because I remember that being kind of like a little of a twist, kind of like with the Harry Potter books, where technically Neville Longbottom could have been the chosen one.
Oh, really?
Yes, because he has the same. There's so many similarities to their childhood, then there's just one thing that changes it, and it's that Voldemort decides to go to his parents' house first instead of Neville Longbottom's house.
Oh, okay. Oh!
Basically.
I pulled up trivia for the movie. Speaking of Austin Butler as Phaedra, by the way, he was great.
Oh, yes.
A little one
Fantastic.
note, but the character is one note, but he was awesome in the role.
Yes.
Do you know who?
He looked the part.
Yeah, definitely. Much better than Sting.
Oh, yes.
Do you know who else was in the running to play Rautha?
No.
Ty Sheridan, which I think could have done a good job. He's not as tall, but he could have done a good job. But the second choice, though, I guess third choice after Austin Butler, Harry Styles. And that, you see, that's where we get back to the casting who's popular, not who's good for the role. Because no offense to Harry Styles, he's a terrible actor. Not terrible, he's a bad actor.
No, he's not an actor.
No, that too, yeah. Here was two other. Okay, so I guess they were really looking at all the popular young actors, because another trivia here is considered for the role of Feyd-Rautha was also Bill Skarsgård. Mm-hmm. Could have worked, or fucking Barry Keoghan or Keoghan. Now that could have worked.
I don't know if he,
because he's so weird. He's like a Dune character in real life.
Yeah, but he's not that kind of weird.
I don't know, man. If he acts,
I don't know if he can play that calm, chaotic. He's more chaotic.
I know. But let's say this. It would have been interesting to see his rendition of Feyd-Rautha.
Sure.
Maybe it's not right.
But I don't think it wouldn't have been right. There's another one where Denis Villeneuve described Feyd-Rautha Harkonnen as a cross between a psychopathic killer, an Olympic swordmaster, a snake, and Mick Jagger. The Mick Jagger part, I don't remember from the book, so to speak, but it does ring a bell when you look at the movie, the older movie.
No. Oh, yeah.
And he definitely did not really put that into this movie, which I appreciate because that would have been weird. To me, yes, he is a psychopathic killer and Olympic sword master and a bit of a snake. Yes.
Sure, yeah.
But I don't know. Other than that, no. All the other casts, I think, were pretty much perfect.
Yeah.
I didn't know that Christopher Walken was going to play the Emperor. I completely missed that.
Yeah, he's barely in the trailer.
On the poster, or am I just blind?
I don't know.
No, he's not on the poster.
No, but he's in the trailer for like a second.
Yeah, I didn't really look at the trailer, to be honest. I went, oh, part 2. Good, we're watching that.
Yeah.
For some reason, though, they put Chani's friend on the poster.
Yeah.
Why?
Why? Yeah.
I don't remember her character from the book at all.
No.
She doesn't really play a big part here, except for being someone who just voices a bit of like
dissent.
He can't be the Messiah kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, I think everyone's really good. I think Dave Bautista got to express more of what he did from the first movie, and I really liked that.
I am famously, infamously, not a fan of him as an actor.
Me neither. But I like him in this role.
I thought he was very boring in this. He's just, I'm just jelly big man all the time. Whoa.
Sure, but we got to see more of the cowardness.
Yeah, sure. That's more like once again, all the good stuff is in this movie.
Yes.
All the character stuff in this movie.
This is his best role, but he does play a lot of the big bouldering screaming guy.
Yeah.
Better in this one because there's a little bit more of a nuance to it.
Sure. Yeah, I don't really have much else to say about this movie.
No. I think there's one thing I want to talk about. The settings a little bit.
Oh?
I feel like they made the sieges a little bit too grandiose.
Yes, they feel more, like you said, more intimate.
In the book.
In the book, yeah.
Even though they're supposed to have this like this giant lake basically with, the water of life. Yeah, but
that's it for the big parts. The rest is just like holes that people live in.
It's also supposed to be more organic.
Yeah.
In this one, the big lake that they call that it is so square.
It looks like a pool.
And man-made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is man-made.
It's supposed to be, the way I saw it at least, it was supposed to be more organic. Just like a lake in a cave that time had hollowed out, basically.
Yeah, definitely. It aligns with the style of the movie, so I understand why they made it that way.
Yes. But I also wanted that contrast.
Yeah.
Because you're supposed to have... Because that's one thing that the first part really did well, was showing the different styles of the houses and the planets.
Yeah.
And my God, were they gorgeous.
Yeah.
In this one, we're supposed to see more of the desert and the natural habitats, so to speak. But there was a lot of... Sure, there were a lot of natural... I mean, there was so much sand.
Yeah.
So much sand. But I don't know, the sea just didn't feel right.
It wasn't a problem for me, I gotta say.
Not really a problem, no, but it just, I don't know. It also didn't feel as orange as it should be. Everything was just pale instead.
Yeah, but because that's the thing. If you look,
but I think it's because the posters are very orange.
Yes, but that's the thing. The first movie is very pale, like sand looking. If you look at the poster, if you compare the posters, and that movie, it feels more like it's bright, it's pale, it's all very sandstone, very beige. While everything you see from before we saw the movie, even though how the movie starts, is all this super deep orange look from the poster. The first scene in the movie when they're supposed to bury Jamis or whatever, get him back to the siege.
Yeah.
It's all like that orange. Like, oh, so they're just gonna change the color palette from the first movie, but then it becomes same pale sand look. So
it just throws you off a little.
I don't know why they went for the super orange look on the poster, because it's not really in the movie.
No. Oh, that also needs to be mentioned. The black and white on the Harkonnen home planet.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
But I didn't understand.
Amazing. Gorgeous.
Is that in the book?
Yes.
It is,
Because
okay.
they mentioned the black sun, like, making everything devoid of color.
Oh, okay. Because that's also one of the details I don't remember. Okay.
Oh my god. And it was perfectly executed. It looks so
yeah, it
awesome.
looks awesome. Yeah, definitely.
Those scenes on the home planet, the Harkonnen home planet,
DD Prime.
is even more of the first movies, like perfection to when it comes to the visuals.
Yeah.
Fucking loved it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so let's I said I don't have much more to say about it, but no, I do. Because like I said in the beginning, I it feels like I've been not shitting on the movie, but not really talking about like, oh my god, how great it is, even though I said in the beginning I really loved it.
Yeah.
Because we've talked a lot about differences from the book,
Yeah.
and the fact that it's just like not a complete movie once again, even though this is more a complete movie, but
Yes.
but I gotta say, what really won me over is, of course, attention to detail and all that. And,
Yes.
Moments where I just like, yeah, that's like in the book. Oh, yeah. And there's a lot more
Yeah.
of that in this one because more stuff happens. But also just the visceral like feeling of or experience this movie was. We don't have the, what is it called, the 4DX theaters here in Sweden, when where the chairs move and stuff.
Oh yeah, no.
But we saw this in IMAX,
Which is the closest we have
Yeah.
to like.
and it was you even mentioned that it feels like they had turned up the volume for this screening
Oh yes,
than other movies.
certain sounds made the entire like theater vibrate.
Yes, and I was going to say, because the music, much like in the first movie, is a lot of vibrations. Because of vibrations, this book
Yes.
calls forth Shai-Hulud.
Yes.
So yeah, there are so many moments where where the music didn't just accentuate the feelings of the scene, they literally made you shake. Like
Yes.
this just whoa feeling. Or the scene, which came much earlier in the movie than I thought it would, where Paul is supposed to tame a sandworm, or ride a sandworm, or whatever. And my God, that was an awesome scene. Like it was so exciting. It was like a great action sequence. It felt like an adventure movie. Like an old school adventure movie, and him hanging on, and they had these like lockdown Christopher Nolan shots, even though they also had the big Denis Villeneuve sweeping shots, but they had these lockdown shots on the worm as he was like climbing, and you could see the worm turn and him turning closer to the sand and everything. It was so amazing, and then he just got up, and then the music swelled, and you heard the again. It's just like, oh my God! As everyone stood up, that was the greatest scene in the movie.
Yes.
Holy shit.
Definitely, yes.
And that's when I was like, yeah, I love this movie.
You know what? The only sound I missed was the which when I rewatched the first part, I think I didn't like clock it, but because we mentioned when the Harkonnen army is kind of assembled, there's this dude who speaks, and there's that part. I wanted more of that though in this, but I don't know where they could have fit it in.
They do have it in the beginning, because in the...
Yeah, but like more pronounced.
I know what you mean, yeah. Yeah, but that's just... Yeah, I don't know, because in the first movie, it opens with it's the quote, dreams are visions of the future or something.
Something like that, yeah.
And it is made by one of those guys who goes...
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, okay, so that must be some sort of ancient thing. But that's just a guy who's like hyping the Sardaukar on whatever planet that is. And this movie opens with a quote as well, which I don't remember. I don't remember what it opens with.
No.
And it sounds like it's supposed to be the same voice, but not really.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the point is of having it in that language, which never shows up or has any point.
In the rest of this movie.
Yeah. I don't know.
I just wanted more of it because it sounds fucking awesome.
The turning of the hands.
So it's so... Ooh.
I like that a lot of the movie was
core.
in Fremen, not in English.
Yes.
I don't know if they were speaking like a real language or like some sort of made-up version of
No idea.
I know it's like inspired by Arabic, but in the book there's only English. They say they speak other languages, but it's all in English.
Yeah, they don't write it out.
Yeah, there's no like Elvish
language.
like in Lord of the Rings.
No, because that would have been annoying.
Yeah.
Which it is in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. Yes, I'm wondering, like, because, like I said, it sounds like Arabic or Middle Eastern, but I don't know.
It's very Arabic.
Arabic.
Middle Eastern in general. Like.
Yeah, doesn't
desert.
say.
You know, the Sahara kind of area.
Yeah. Let's see if it says anything.
I didn't find anything in the trivias.
No. Ooh.
Certain words sounded a lot like it, but I don't think it's actually a language. I think it's a made up one.
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah.
I just saw a random comment, a random trivia that I don't understand why, and it just baffled me a little bit. Many fans objected to the white actor Christopher Walken playing a role previously played by a Hispanic and an Italian. Yeah. But despite the character's name, the novels do not identify him as Hispanic, Italian, or Middle Eastern.
No. Yeah, I don't. It was the same thing. People were kind of. I remember. It's because you have to be outraged. You can't just think something is good. There has to be something you think is outraging. Because in the first movie, I know they some people were complaining that, oh yeah, they're really trying to make this more of a, because the perspective in the first movie, at least part of it, is that this is the, this is basically the story of colonization, and we see it from the perspective of people being colonized. Native Americans or here Fremen. But the Fremen aren't a people, they just picked any actor with brown skin, basically. They could be African American, could be Spanish,
shade of not white.
Whatever Zendaya is, And they were like, so basically everyone that's not white is just the same person. People were complaining about that. Yeah, but whatever, shut up, doesn't matter. And with the Emperor, they don't ever discuss his race or skin color in the book.
No.
They just picked some guy for the other movies and TV shows.
Yeah.
It's not like they're whitewashing the role, because he never was white or brown. He was just the Emperor.
They never mention skin color in the book.
Yeah.
They mention the Fremen being darker
because, sunburn.
Because they're out in the sun. Basically.
Yeah.
And they mention a lot of eye colors, but that's it.
Yeah.
And in this case, Christopher Walken and Florence Pugh need to be family, so they need to have certain similarities.
Yeah.
I guess. That's about it.
Yeah. That's though, if you want to talk about someone being wasted, not wasted, but being not utilized. Fucking Christopher Walken, he had nothing to do in this movie.
Yes.
Him
and Princess Irulan are supposed to have more screen time.
Yes.
They just need more screen time, and it's such a shame. Like I said, I wanted like an entire movie with just their little scheming. Yeah, but just their household basically.
Yeah.
Could have thrown in some more Ben and Gesserit stuff in there as well, because obviously they work a lot with them. That would have been so interesting.
But then
they want to make a spin-off. I want that.
But that's the thing. Then we're getting dangerously close to they're going to do too many movies. You can't adapt the entire book. That would be like 12 hours.
I know. That part of the book is so interesting. I know it is. Those characters, and that's the whole thing, because the book really deals with themes not only of like religious themes and a bit of there's the hero's journey is like the big adventure thing, but it deals also with religion and religious zealotry and the dangers of religion, but it also deals a lot with the politics of the situation. There's a lot of, even more in the second book. There's almost no politics in this. It's all focused on the religious aspects of the story. But it's because they're choosing to look at it from the Paul perspective.
Yeah, but that's why I think it's kind of hard to. That's why I said, I guess 20 minutes ago now. I was like, I don't have much else to say about it, because so much of what's. The plot of the book is there, but a lot of the story from the book is not there.
No, because that's all the politics around that everyone else talks about.
Yeah.
Not Paul.
Yeah.
That he's not involved with.
Exactly. And I can understand why you have to focus it more, because once again, a movie is a much more, we've talked about this, it's a much more focused experience than a book.
Yes.
So I understand why. But yeah, I do miss a lot of the politicking, because that's a lot of fun.
I'm going to say something blasphemous here.
Okay.
But imagine if HBO produced a series on this instead.
Could have worked.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Like House of the Dragon
Yeah,
style.
I was going to say, with a Game of Thrones budget, yeah.
Yes, you need that budget. Oh my god. That would have been fascinating. And I'm not usually, I mean, I like series, but I do prefer movies. I like it short and concise. But I think this might have benefited from being,
because you could have had all of it.
12 hours.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of similarities to the whole politics and shit, like you have in Game of Thrones in general.
Yeah.
With, the different houses, in this case, different, well, no, they're
Their houses here,
yeah. You could have had more of the Atreides history being told, because we don't get enough of that as well, even though they mention it in the first part. There's more history to be told.
Yeah.
To, again, explain why Leto is the way he is, and then why Paul becomes who he is.
Yeah.
You could have more of the Harkonnens' story and understand more of their personas, and therefore how Paul becomes more of what he is.
Yeah.
And again, you could have had more of the sieges and Chani and the domestic life. Oh my god, it could have so much more.
Yeah.
Again, though, I'm happy there's movies.
Oh yeah, sure.
I don't know. If you want to make 6 hours, then why not just make it 12?
And also,
you know?
We should have said this, because I think a lot of people turned this off when we started talking about spoilers. We should have mentioned it. To sum it up, I think this was a great movie. This is like an 8 out of 10 for me. Much better than the first movie.
Pretty much.
Well,
yeah, because there's more happening.
Yeah, so like I said, I mean, we kind of picked it apart a lot, but that's because of the book. But as a movie, I thought it was a great experience. It was fun, exciting, dramatic. It had everything, really.
Yeah.
It was.
But that's the issue when you have source material.
Yeah.
You're gonna compare it.
Yes.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
I mean, if this was an original idea,
oh my god, yes. That's also. I was thinking of that. Like, imagine if we had something, but then they wouldn't dare to put this much money into making it.
No.
I mean, the budget for the first movie was 165 million, and then this one probably cost as much,
if not more. Because there's more actors.
190 million. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they've spent like $350 million, and that's the just reported budget. So it's probably close to like $450 million on these two movies. They would never spend that much on a movie where they weren't sure there was a built-in audience, because here they knew we have an audience, we have the Dune heads,
Even though, surprisingly, they did this little thing in the theater when we watched it, where they asked 2 questions to the audience, and you could win, like, I don't know if it was a bag of popcorn or something. So many who did not actually know.
Yeah, the question was, when was the book published, and then when did the first movie come out? And a lot of people said 2021. Like, no, the first movie. Yeah.
They should have specified though and said
the David Lynch movie.
The David Lynch movie. But even then, I thought more of the nerds would be like, I know exactly, like, straight ahead. No, we had like 5 or 6 wrong answers before we got the right one.
Yeah, you had one guy say, 1964. No, wrong. And the next guy was like, 1964. Like, no, wrong.
Yeah. And then, 65?
Yeah. Which I knew, of course.
Of course you did.
I told you.
We never raise our hands.
No.
It's kind of annoying.
We already had popcorn.
Yeah. Which, for once, took ages to eat up.
Yeah. It almost
because the movie was actually exciting.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
My drink lasted like 2 hours. That never happens. That just proves the movie was fucking good.
Yes.
However,
another.
Yeah.
Side.
We were talking about. What were we talking about?
I don't know. I have no clue.
Yeah, that they would never spend as much money on a movie they weren't sure was going to make money back. However, in a very strange move, the second movie wasn't a sure thing before the first movie came out.
No.
They said, like, based on how well the first movie does, we're going to greenlight the second one. It was greenlit, like, immediately.
Oh, yeah, like 4 days after the premiere.
But I gotta say...
the US release.
I gotta say, the first movie, while it made a lot of money, it did not make, like... Because usually nowadays, like, if you don't make $1 billion, you're kind of a flop. Or around, like, $600-700 million. This made only $435 million. But on a... the first movie. We don't know this one yet. But... that is on a budget of 165 million, which is probably closer to 200 million.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was, and usually they don't count it as a success unless you double your budget. So yeah, they just made it.
Yeah.
I understand though that, like, so they, because you couldn't say, like, no, you didn't make $1 billion, you don't get to make part 2 of Dune. Like, they understood that you have to finish the story now that we at least broke even and made some money,
Yeah, I mean, had it flopped, then sure, they wouldn't have. They wouldn't. You know what?
Because when I heard they were going to cut up in 2 parts, and the fate of the second rested on the success of the first one, I was so angry. I think it also plays into why I don't like the first movie. I think it's such an idiotic idea.
Yeah.
It worked, thank God.
Yes, it worked out perfectly well.
But if it didn't, it would have been one of the greatest cinematic blasphemies of all time. Oh, we have half a Dune movie now. Thanks.
Yeah.
God damn. However, we talked about now them definitely hinting at continuing to adapt the other books,
expand the universe.
Yeah. Nothing is there's nothing planned. What it says here, at least on Wikipedia, I'm sure you could read a bunch of articles about it, but potential third film. Villeneuve has expressed interest in making a third film based on Dune Messiah, saying that its possibility depends on the success of Dune Part 2. Oh, okay.
I mean, we do have on IMDb Dune Part 3 in development.
Oh, okay. Oh, they can't call it Dune Part 3. They have to call it Dune Messiah.
Yeah, they also have, like, only Denis Villeneuve and Timothée Chalamet. Like, there's nothing else. That's all they have.
Yeah, they've
and someone wrote Dune Part 3 on a black background with, like, the font.
Yeah, of course. However...
I'm sorry, but that's not showing that they're actually going to make something.
Exactly. They have, and this seems to be, like, it says it's upcoming, so they have... Yeah, it's done. Or they started with a TV show called Dune Prophecy, which I guess is based on the Sisterhood of Dune, which is, it's one of those, like, spin-off books.
Yeah.
Written by Frank Herbert's son. It's gonna...
Right.
And that is... it's the first book... It's the first book in the Great Schools of Dune prequel trilogy. Oh, right, the prequels. That's prequels, right. Which itself is a sequel to their Legends of Dune trilogy. Jesus Christ. And it's about, Bene Gesserits. That's the Sisterhood. Duh. So, they're doing a Dune verse now. There's going to be spin-off TV shows, and I'm not happy with that. They should just focus on
cautiously excited.
Yeah, but then it's not going to be the same thing as the books. Maybe I get more
of what I want. No.
So...
I haven't read the rest of the books yet, though. So, I mean, I don't know yet.
I'm going to... Like I said, I mentioned it before. I've been in a reading slump for years. I'm kind of getting out of it right now because I've started reading, like, novellas and short stories just to kind of warm up. I really want to reread the first book and the second book and then actually finish the rest of the books. I have the third one. I've never even opened it. Now I'm excited to do that again. Yeah. Anyway, I think we're going to wrap it up there.
Yes, we're going to wrap it up here.
I just want to mention, because we do have a meta score for this one.
It's like 80,
yeah, the first movie had like a 76 or 77, which was pretty high, and I was like, no. This one has an 80, which is very high when it comes to meta score. I think it's deserving of it, though.
Yeah, I haven't rated it yet on my Letterboxd.
Me neither, but this is it's a 4 out of
4 out
5.
of
Yeah,
5.
it's 8 out of 10. Maybe no, it's not. Because as much as I enjoyed this, and as much as it looks like big classic movie, I don't get that feeling from this. Like this is going to become a future classic, like one of the masterpieces of cinema that they talk about in the future. This feels too much pop culture movie. It's not a bad thing. I don't feel that classic cinema feeling about this movie, except for the sandworm scene. So yeah, this is and that's really where it goes from 4 to 4.5 or 5 for me. So this is a 4 out of 5 for me.
I gave part 1 4.5.
I know. You were so sold on it. I remember that, our discussion. You were,
but again, that was initial.
Yeah,
reaction,
you were very taken aback by the scale of it all. I remember that.
Yes.
It's fine.
But yes, that's it for today.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah, it is. So we will. Yeah, so this is coming out today, the 26th.
Yes.
Because they premiered it on a Monday, and we don't want to.
We accidentally were able to watch it early.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, actually on Wednesday it's supposed to premiere. So, yeah, this is technically it comes out on the Patreon day, but this is also the free episode that comes out on Saturday.
We'll see if we have something for you on Saturday, but this is it for this week otherwise.
Yeah, sorry. It got weird. You're gonna have to talk to Warner Brothers about that, releasing a movie like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But, we'll see you in the next episode anyway. Until then, have a good one. Bye. The Spoilercast is part of Please Don't Make a Scene. It is produced and directed by Tobias Vedén and hosted by Tobias and Rebecca Vedén. Executive producer is Annika Vedén. I also want to give a huge shout out to all our patrons over on patreon.com/don'tmakeascene. Mom, Dad, Christopher Belén, Danny Del Gaiso, Mac and Mom, Laura Kinney, CK85.